Aloha Headsets, Frank here, it's review time, and the wait is finally over for our first AAA VR experience. You guessed it, it's time for the Resident Evil 7 VR review. So hide your eyes and shut the lights, because we're going to the bayous of Louisiana for this one.
Daddy's coming. We need to go. We need to go now!
What the fuck are you?
Shut up and listen if you want to stay alive. Ethan, you gotta get out of that house.
Now, I have to be upfront and honest with you, I never played a Resident Evil game before, so when 7 was first announced, I had no real interest. Big mistake. Honestly, even when I heard it was coming to PSVR, I wasn't that thrilled. I was never a big horror junkie, even when dealing with movies, so the thought of playing a game that could potentially terrify me didn't really seem like something I'd be interested in. Even the kitchen demo didn't really sell me. But then they updated the beginning hour demo, and I was hooked. I decided maybe I should check out some of the old games. Now, some of the early ones do look fun, but honestly, it looked like Resident Evil had taken a turn for the worst. You're worried this game is anything like those others? Don't. Capcom must have realized something was going on, because this game is truthfully wonderful. Now, before I start the actual review, you must know I have not played this game in 2D. This review is entirely based on a VR playthrough, which in my humble opinion is the only way to experience this game. You need to play this regardless of whether you like horror games or not. But, as always, don't just take my word for it, take a look. Story. Now, I won't spoil anything for you, but the story is pretty good. It's no Oscar-winning screenplay, but Ethan's journey in search of his wife Mia is one that will keep you interested from start to finish. After receiving a mysterious videotape, Ethan must travel to a dilapidated farmhouse in the bayous of Louisiana, where an over-the-top hillbilly family, mysterious mold, and a lack of resources stand between him and the love of his life. I really enjoyed the story. I live in the South, so I have a strange sense of familiarity with the environment, which was phenomenal. The VR really adds to the story, and cutscenes are particularly amazing when viewed in VR. I felt like an actual participant in the game, rather than just playing God. Visuals. Now, I must preface this by stating that I was playing on the Pro, and although I do recommend it, it is in no way necessary to enjoy your experience with Resident Evil, or any other VR games for that matter. That being said, this game looked marvelous. I had originally played the demo on my OG PS4 and was still blown away. Sure, there were more jaggies, but the environment is so detailed and well put together that it never really bothered me. Now, with the Pro, it was like night and day. Nearly everything was crisp as could be, and the only real thing that stuck out as strange was the character model's hair. It just seemed like a blob of glitch on top of their heads at times. I mean, it does nothing to affect the gameplay, just really stuck out in such a well-polished game. Audio. The audio is everything you could want and more. Doors creak and slam, enemies creep up behind you and release groans that make your skin crawl, the crickets chirp, the flies buzz, the floorboards creak, and the guns all sound different. I mean, they really did some great work on this game. The sound design is phenomenal, and then add in a little virtual reality, and you have what makes for an extremely immersive experience. Gameplay. I've heard this game being heralded as a revitalization of the series, and if it has anything to thank for that, it's the amazing gameplay. Unlike all other titles in the Resident Evil universe, which have a third-person perspective, Capcom decided to change things up a bit this time and offer us some wonderful first-person gameplay, and it is splendid. Now, not only did they change up the perspective, but the entire game can be played in virtual reality, and that, my friends, is the way to play this game. You just move your head to look around and hold the left stick forward and you move in that direction. You can peek around corners and in drawers. I mean, it is utterly enthralling. Sure, they call this a survival horror, but in my eyes, I see it as a wonderful adventure game. You start with basically no idea what's going on, but after moving through a few rooms, you'll start to realize this game isn't so much of an open world as it is a puzzle. Find this statue, look for this key. The entire game is filled to the brim with little things hidden here and there. I absolutely adored it. None of the puzzles are difficult by any means, but you still feel quite satisfied upon completion. The new perspective offers a much more immersive experience than previous games, but the virtual reality brings it to the next level. You truthfully feel like you've been dropped into this game world, and the level of detail that surrounds you is phenomenal. But be warned, this game is not for the faint of heart, especially when playing in VR. It can get terrifying, but there are really only 5 or 6 big scares. But the sense of immersion will raise your heart rate and leave you tense and anxious every time you move through a room. I really don't want to go over too much of the gameplay because it's really more fun to figure out on your own. But I will tell you there aren't any dumb mechanics that you won't use, and everything is well done and extremely satisfying. If the game has one real shortcoming, I'd have to say it's the enemies you face. Sure, there are some amazing and extremely memorable boss fights, but between each of those are maybe 3 or 4 different styles of the same enemy. And after facing a few, you understand how to take them down effectively and quickly. That, coupled with how easy it is to score headshots in VR, makes enemy encounters far less of a hazard. Don't get me wrong, you're still gonna get surprised a bit, but once you know how to handle these creatures, by the end of the game, they start to lose the effect. Though this is not a big issue, I was really worried that going into this game, there would be a lot of stealth type scenarios where I would need to hide from enemies. Thankfully, there were so few that I actually appreciated their inclusion as a little switch up in the gameplay. This game is also not a first-person shooter. Sure, there's some great and varied weaponry, but shooting is not the focus of this title. So, for those of you worried the series is sold out, don't. Other than a change in perspective, Resident Evil 7 is a true return to the series' roots. Motion sickness. Now, I didn't experience any motion sickness, and honestly, out of all the VR games out there so far, I've heard the least complaints regarding this title. I also played for nearly 11 hours straight on my first playthrough, and other than tired eyes, I never had a single issue. All that being said, they do offer a wide variety of options for those of you that do have issues. I chose to set the camera to smooth rather than pie chart, remove the VR blinders, which just darken the outside of your view turning. Remove the VR blinders, which just darken the outside of your view when turning. Set my moving speed to normal rather than slow, and turned up the camera sensitivity to 7. Now, those are just my settings, and I suggest playing around with them until you find what's perfect for you. But at the end of the day, if you're worried about motion sickness, don't be. Drift. Perfection. I never had a hiccup. Kudos to you, Capcom. Value. Now, this is the 4th full-price PSVR game we've seen released to date, and considering the content, this one blows all the others out of the water. I've already played through 3 times as of writing this review, and I can't wait to go back. This game sets the bar for what's possible in a VR experience, and the DLC is only a few days away. I definitely think this game is worth every penny, even if you're terrified to play it in VR, which you must do. The 2D game alone is worth the price. Verdict. I love this game. Even though I had never played a Resident Evil title before, the story hooked me and has extremely excited me for the DLC. The visuals in VR were absolutely gorgeous, the audio sent chills down my spine, the gameplay was perfect and worked without a hitch, and even with all the comfort settings off, I never felt any motion sickness. So, if you're not already grabbing your wallet, you better start. I still can't believe how truly amazing this game is, and we're still only 4 months into the PlayStation VR's life. Headsets, we're in for quite the journey, and I know I'm gonna enjoy the ride.
This fucking family.
Well, that's it for this one. And you know what? This time, I'm not even gonna ask. If you don't have it yet, go get Resident Evil 7. And as of writing this, over 85,000 people have played it in VR. So you better as well. You don't want to miss out on what could be the greatest game this year. And as always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up. And if you want to stay up to date on everything PlayStation VR, and you don't mind this ugly mug, friggin' subscribe! Hey, and to help your boy out, share this thing. Hey you, check out this video or this video. And if you haven't already, friggin' subscribe. I mean, come on.